Episode 12, with none other than YouTube fitness pioneer, Nick Wright. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining me again on what I know will be an amazing episode. I am your host, Maxx Chewning, and this is EverForward Radio. Welcome back, everybody, to this week's episode of EverForward Radio. I am here with, I'll call him a longtime friend. I've known him through the interwebs for a few years and actually had the privilege of calling him a neighbor for about a year back in Richmond, Virginia. I'm joined by none other than Scondor himself, Mr. Nick Wright, NWB. Nick, how you doing, man? Thanks for being on the podcast.
Good, I'm great. I haven't heard Scondor in forever.
Honestly, I forgot about it until it was just in my head going through the intro for you. And so, what is Scondor, real quick?
Oh my God! Well, I actually have a video on it. It's called my 20,000 subscriber video. What does Scondor mean? But to break it down, it was a character that I created in a creative writing story that I wrote in 6th grade at 11 years old.
Wow.
Scondor was like, I don't remember exactly anymore, but it was like roughly along the lines of like a cross between like a wizard and something else. I don't remember.
Oh, not like a liger. It's bred for its mythical powers.
No, I mean it was kind of like a liger in the sense where it was a hybrid, but it was a hybrid of like humanoid things.
Shout out Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah, and then what's funny is actually how that happened was how it became the name was because around the same time I made my first email address ever, and all the variations of Nick were taken. So I just like, what would not be taken? Boom, Scondor used it. And then the same thing happened with my instant messenger name. And then eventually when I made the YouTube channel, I was like, well, Scondor's been everything. Scondor, bam.
There you go. Taken. Hey, consistency is key. That's what they say in the biz, right?
That's what they say in the biz.
So speaking of the biz, for those of you who do not know who Nick Wright is, first of all, go educate yourself. Secondly, Nick, why don't you give us a little background as far as who you are, what you do, and your kind of your origin story.
All right, so I'm Nick Wright, 25 years old. As far as YouTube goes, let me back way up. I started bodybuilding when I was 14 years old, like training for it, and became obsessed with the actual sport of bodybuilding and wanted to compete immediately. So I did my first bodybuilding competition at 15 years old in 2006. And I just began competing from there. Like I was hooked on the sport of bodybuilding. And then around 2007, I created a Body Space account, which is like a MySpace for bodybuilding.
Yeah, I remember those.
Yeah, so I'd be on that thing all the time, and like I would just follow so many inspirational bodybuilders on there, and I became obsessed with documenting my progress. So, because on Body Space, it's cool. You document like your arm measurements, your body measurements, your lifts, the whole 9 yards. So documentation became a big thing, and then I would religiously follow like as many bodybuilding shows and series as I could, but back then there wasn't a lot. Like you would have to order the DVDs of your favorite pro bodybuilders like Ronnie Coleman, Jay Cutler. So you had their DVDs. You'd have the Road to the Olympia DVDs, and then like the only series was like bodybuilding.com would sometimes put out series. And then there was only one teen bodybuilder that I can remember that actually had a series, and it was Shane Geezy, who I met like the other year, and like it was really cool meeting him. But Shane Geezy was like a nationally ranked teen bodybuilder in the NPC, and he had a bodybuilding.com series, and he was all over like bodybuilding.com and teenbodybuilding.com, major inspiration. And I remember thinking, I want to start documenting myself like that too, but I'm too small time. Bodybuilding.com is not going to want to hit me up. So I thought there's really no series on natural bodybuilding at all, especially teen natural bodybuilding. Why don't I try this YouTube thing and bring it out to the mainstream? This is like right when YouTube was like really starting to pop. It was becoming like a big deal, but it wasn't saturated. So like not everybody and their grandmother had a channel at that time. So right. I was like, why don't I use this to promote myself? And initially it started off where I just uploaded like contest footage, and I just uploaded just to save it, just so it'd be there forever, and I forget about it. And then when I had this epiphany, why don't I use YouTube? I went back to look at my contest footage, and they had like, I don't remember the views now, it probably wasn't much like now, but like at the time, it was like a decent amount of views. I remember I think I had 400 subscribers or something like that, and like 100,000 views, like grand total.
Wow.
I had videos up. Yeah, and at the time, like, when you're not trying to get views, like, that was kind of cool. I was like, wow, that's a lot of, like, views for not really trying to do anything with this. So I was like, let me try interacting. And I love public speaking, and I love bodybuilding. So it just clicked immediately, and I began YouTubing. In, like, this is, like, the very end of 2009. That's when I did the Eating Big series.
Yeah.
And fun fact for anybody listening, my inspiration for structuring my YouTube channel was actually Steve Mead Designs on YouTube. He's a huge car audio guy. He has like a bunch of crazy SBD builds, like sound pressure level builds. I said SBD out of habit for powerlifting. SPL.
Well, and that was kind of your background before, right? I know before really bodybuilding, or I guess about at the same time, you were kind of on that path. You were working in car audio, but kind of doing your own thing for a while, right?
Oh, yeah. As soon as I could drive, I found Steve Mead, obviously, and then watched his channel obsessively, and then I became inspired. So I learned how to do all the cardio, my God. The car audio.
He just got back from vacation, everybody. Don't hate him too much. Give him some credit. His brain's still recovering.
I did. My brain's like mashed potatoes right now, more than usual. I learned how to do all the installation myself. Fortunately, my father was like really savvy with that stuff in general, like any sort of. The man could just do everything. So he was able to kind of help me out too, like in person, which was really helpful. But I taught myself how to do it. And then a friend of mine, we ended up creating our own car audio business. And what was it? It was...
Skondor Beats?
No, it started off as NW Systematics, NWS.
That is terrible. That is terrible.
Oh, yeah, terrible. Then we changed it quickly to CQ Audio. That's what it was, CQ Audio.
That rolls off the tongue a little better.
Yeah. I cannot for the life of me remember what CQ stands for now, but like it was CQ Audio, and then it took off. We ended up having like a lot of people that I went to school with. Like I'd play my system for them, and I had like I had my own little cool setup, and then they ended up coming to me and all that. So like the order of work for me went from at 13 years old, I got hired illegally. She's supposed to be 14. I got hired at a restaurant, washing dishes, full time, 50 hours a week, saving up for my first car. Ended up doing construction. Then did construction and the restaurant business while trying to start my own audio. And then I thought audio was going to be my calling. I thought that's what was going to be my thing. Me and my friend would open up our own shop and do like custom car audio installations and everything. And then, I was still working construction at the time. And then that's when YouTube happened. And at the time I was still doing YouTube, but only recreationally. And I was still obsessed with competing, but it was all recreational. And I was about to graduate high school. And I actually just had graduated high school, and I thought I was going to be done with YouTube. I did the Eating Big series, which is fun. It was like 3 videos. That took off. And then like I was competing, and I loved it. And I was almost going to hang up the jersey on competing and YouTube and everything fitness related in general. And my friends talked me into doing one more show, the IMBF Monster Mash, which was a show that I had always wanted to do and always talked about doing since my first show ever. And my friends taught me to do one more show. And that was the fall after I graduated high school. So I was just working full time. And so I went and did it. And lo and behold, that show was what sparked the channel. That's when I started documenting the show on the YouTube channel and really taking it seriously. That's also when I came in contact with my first sponsors ever, RTN. If you guys remember those days, I met them at the
yeah.
Talked to the CEO, got sponsored by him, and that's also when I got flown out to do my first paid photo shoot and DVD shoot. So like that one show really kicked everything that NWB is now today. That kicked it all off, and that's when I was like, forget car audio, I'm doing this, and I started pursuing NWB stuff.
So you said you were kind of pulled into doing another show where you are, which is in Rhode Island, correct?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
So from where you were located and still are, was this kind of a big thing, or why was it such a push for you from others? Was it just kind of an obvious gift or passion for you?
Yeah, I loved competing back then, like, and everyone knew that. And the show itself wasn't anything like astronomical, but it was a regional show, so it was pretty big amongst like the natural bodybuilding community, and it was a popular one in our area. So it was just like it was a pretty large sized, very popular regional show, and it was just like. When I went to my first show way back in 2006, like when I was 15, it was a small local show, but it was in the same area that Monster Mash show is held. And at the time, that Monster Mash show back in 2006 was being held 2 weeks after my first show that I did. And I remember like receiving flyers about it and being told that if I signed up today at my show, we'd get like a huge discount and all like the sign up fees and all that.
Yeah.
And I just remember that just kind of put it into my head. So for years I did all these other shows, but the Monster Mash was always one I wanted to do just for fun. And people could tell that I still love bodybuilding at the time. So like my girlfriend at that time and like one of my friends at that time, they're all just like, dude, you want to do it. You know you want to do it. Just do it. Do this one show. Why not? And then so I did it.
And about what year was this?
This was 2000. This is the end of 2009.
End of 2009. Yes.
Yep. Oh, and at the same time, also EJ, my friend at that time, EJ, he convinced me. This is when MySpace. It's like the last year MySpace was.
Yeah.
He convinced me to turn my MySpace completely into like a fitness model portfolio page, and I did, and that's how I got hit up for the photo shoot. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just kind of paint the picture here, paint the timeline. So you're in high school, you're doing a few competitions, you're doing your car audio business, kind of get pulled back into the game, Godfather style. They pulled me back in, and that really kind of was, I'm hearing, the catalyst for making that your primary focus, right?
Yeah, man. If I hadn't been talking and doing that show, I don't think any of this would have happened.
So you got pushed into doing the show, did the photo shoot, had kind of, a lot of things happen all at once. At such, a young age and really a young time for this industry, being a YouTube fitness personality, being, an online fitness personality, really at any level, taking a big gamble and putting all your eggs in that basket. Most people these days, if they are successful really in any level, they're years in the game with a 9 to 5, and then the YouTube thing is just that side hustle. And you kind of just jumped all in all at once. So how did you kind of come to make that decision, and how did that pan out for you in the beginning?
Well, the whole getting out of the 9 to 5 thing was not as fast as, it wasn't quite as like fast and instant as you're making it sound.
I forget. Yeah. You were working so much as a teen. Yeah. So excuse me.
Well, even still, I ended up working. I didn't leave the 9 to 5 world. So that was 2009. I didn't leave the 9 to 5 world until 2012. When I moved down to Virginia, that was the first time I actually stepped away from the 9 to 5 life. So.
Oh, you've been keeping secrets from me this whole time, man? I thought we were bros.
I think I'm pretty sure I've mentioned it, but yeah, man. So job wise, just to paint a picture, job wise, always been a hard worker. So I got a job at 13, dishwashing. You're supposed to only work like 25 hours a week, I think, legally, but we just said F it and do like 57 hours because I was trying to save for a car. And so I worked dishwashing all up until maybe 17, at which time I started doing the construction during the summers because you had to work during the days.
Right.
So then during school, like my senior year of school, I got another job dishwashing and prep cooking again at another restaurant that was actually like across the street from the first restaurant. And I was doing the construction on the weekend. So I was doing the construction job, landscaping, and then doing that and trying to do the custom car audio as well. So that was up until high school. Then I graduated high school, and then I quit the restaurant job, which I was so happy to do. Restaurant work sucks. And
been there.
I stayed doing the construction work, and when I say construction, it was everything. So it would be construction, masonry, carpentry. It would be like even just like simple stuff like mowing lawns, sometimes landscaping stuff, painting, everything. It was handyman type work. So I was doing that, and still doing a little bit of car audio. And that fall, that's when I got talked into doing a show, and that's when I started doing the YouTube thing. But while I was doing the YouTube thing and trying to put myself out there, I was still working. So I was still working construction, getting up, being at the job site for 9 a.m. every single morning. And this went on for years. And meanwhile, I got sponsored unofficially, meaning I wasn't under a contract with RTN. So I'd be driving 2 hours at a time, 3 hours at a time to different store locations and setting up like a table and doing demos for RTN at that time. So it wasn't like a cushiony sponsorship. And then I had my promo code that I'd promote in my videos and stuff like that. But the sponsorships back then were way different. So I had to like actually work for it. So I load up my car. They send me a box. I load up my car with a box, drive 2 hours this way, that way. Whatever location they gave me, I'd be doing that on top of working, on top of making the videos, on top of trying to travel for photo shoots. And I ended up getting signed with a couple of like fitness modeling agencies and stuff like that, and was doing a lot of the photo shoots also for free, spending my own money on driving. Some of them were paid, some of them weren't. So there's a lot of running around, a lot of putting myself out there, and a lot of hustling back then. It is a lot easier to get yourself marketed and get yourself living lavvy now with social media. But social media was not what it was back then.
Yeah. I'm hearing a lot of hustle, man. A lot of hustle, even before you were really 100%, feet solidified in this industry.
Thank you. I guess I did. I didn't even it's weird talking about it because I haven't thought back on it, but I guess I did. But so then 20 years old comes and I get a job at GNC, and I'm good at sales, I'm good at speaking, so I start doing well in that. And I'm working GNC and the construction job at the same time while trying to do all this. I stopped doing car audio at this point. And then eventually I quickly fast-tracked to management, so I get my own store. I start managing my own GNC store, and I was killing it. Highest-ranking store in the area for a little bit. Met with, the regional guys and the divisional guys, and they all loved me because I was just good at sales. But The money was decent. I mean, it was a salary at the time, so the salary
Sure.
was really good. You had commission. You had a bunch of different benefits. I can't remember all the benefits. I know I had 401k, and it was like a good deal with that too. But I was 20. I was just turning 21, and I was just killing myself working like 45, 55-hour weeks, like in this room. Sometimes even more. But I worked 12-hour days, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. in this freaking room that was not mine, making all this money for this company that was not me, for some guy that wasn't me. And it just hit me. I was like, I'm spending all these waking hours making somebody else money. I could be investing it into myself. And then my relationship at that time ended, and I was like, you know what? I need to change the scenery. And then I quit my job. My cousin was living down. I'm very close to my cousin. We grew up together. So
This is the artist, right? The guy that puts out the music?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So him and I, it's like you and Max almost. Like we have that brotherly bond. I'm closer with him than I am my own sister. So I moved down to Virginia where he was going to school, and we just roomed together. And I quit the 9 to 5, and I was like, you know what? It's time to get out of my comfort zone. It's do or die. So I'm not going to get another 9 to 5 job. I'm going to force NWB to become self-sustained. And at the time I moved down there, my income was all of $600 to $1,100 on the best month. Like a great month would be $1,100.
Man. No.
600, and then I had maybe like 15 grand in the bank at that time, I think, from like working. So that is what I was like living on just from like YouTube and stuff at that time. So it was a big risk, but I just wanted to live my own life for myself.
Man, you could have fooled me. I remember the first time I ever met you. Max was kind of hyping it up about, I don't know, maybe a couple weeks ahead of time. That's when Max really started, getting big into the gym and following people on YouTube and stuff. And he was like, yeah, man, I reached out to this guy, Nick Wright. He said he's moving to Richmond. And I was like, hey, we should go work out sometime together. And then I think we first met at our old gym at VCU, Virginia Commonwealth University, did a workout, went and crushed some Chipotle right afterwards. And I remember I was like, man, here comes this kid, comes strolling in. He's got his big ass gym bag, walking through the gym, just going from seat to seat, setting up his camera. And man, you could have fooled me. I had no idea that this was just kind of like that new at that time. You walked in like you had been doing it forever. Like just the confidence and the angles and and everything, man.
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing the YouTube thing for a little bit by then, so there was some confidence in like doing the YouTube. That was kind of normal to me, but yeah, it's the old saying, man. Like fake it till you make it. You just gotta have the confidence and carry yourself with the confidence. And if you don't believe in yourself, who else will? So that was it.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a lot of confidence to jump ship, career wise, but also to do that really at the same time of taking yourself out of your comfort zone of your home, your immediate surrounding area, your friends. So what was it like to kind of just jump all in at the same time of putting yourself in a completely new physical environment?
Man, it was scary as shit. It was weird quitting my job for the first time ever because I moved to a city where I knew nobody at all. So it was really lonely. I liked my cousin, but then he would work during the day and then like he had to go to school. So there would be a lot of times where I was in this apartment by myself in the city where I knew nobody. So and then like when you
except for these two creepy guys who trolled you on YouTube and tricked you into working out with them, right?
Exactly. And when you quit your job, anybody who's been out of work for any reason, like even if you just got injured and you had to spend some time out of work, this. When you are constantly busy and then suddenly go to not being busy, it's weird. You don't know what the hell to do with yourself. So like it got really depressing at times, like really depressing. It got really lonely at times, like super lonely. But eventually you kind of get used to it. Like you get into the swing of it, and then you learn how to let go of this like feeling that you need to be staying busy at all times. Because half the time that you think you're being busy, you're not actually being productive. There's a difference between being busy and being productive. So
Absolutely.
You get your head around that, like, all right, I don't need to constantly feel like I'm doing this. I can relax. I can move at my own pace and just focus on doing things I enjoy. But yeah, it was like definitely scary and lonely at times, but then really gratifying at other times too.
And then, so you were down in Richmond for, it was right about a year, right?
Yeah, yep, just about a year.
So you're down there in the new environment, kind of flexing your wings, getting out of the nest for a little bit, and you had that experience. So how did that springboard you, if at all, into your next level, your next spot in YouTube, and then you transitioned back home to Rhode Island? So I guess you were clearly on a more distinct path and could go back to your roots, right?
Well, it's kind of like complete opposite of a path. I was literally just going with the flow. I didn't know where the hell I was going. Virginia was good for me mentally, like even just outside of career. Like it was just great for me mentally. Like my cousin's very my cousin's the one who turned me on to like Eckhart Tolle and all that, and like
yeah.
Being in Virginia just helped me grow as a person a lot. Stepping that far out of your comfort zone helps you grow in every single way. Like
I'll take full credit for that.
Exactly. How you handle relationships, all that. Honestly, no joke. Meeting you guys is one of the best things ever to come from that. You
Oh, shucks.
you mentioned earlier. I mean, you guys are good guys and great friends, obviously. But then even beyond that, like Maxx, for example, he's fairly new. He's like the new generation of YouTube.
Yeah.
And even though I'm the one who got him onto YouTube, he has helped me stay afloat. I credit him so much, helped me stay afloat, because so many guys that started YouTube back when I started it are completely gone and fallen off. It's
Oh, man.
done. My channel's not popping like it was back in the day, but I've still been able to stay like relevant this long. A lot of it's thanks to Maxx. Like just watching him, bounce ideas off of him, constantly stay in touch with him. He helped me like adjust and grow. So I don't know, that whole period has helped me grow as a human, and then meet the right people to help me keep growing as a channel.
So what has it been like, kind of getting into an industry, regardless of what it is, fitness, YouTube, filming workouts, take that variable out. What is your insight? What has it been like to usher in this new generation, this new kind of direction of an industry as a whole? Because you started off when it was basically brand new. And then, like you said, you were kind of promoting and putting on Maxx to start his channel. And then at the same time, that was right when about Christian Guzman was starting his channel. Which are, some of the bigger names in the industry that you were pretty much kickstarting.
It's been insane to see, man, honestly. It's been crazy. And, like, I love seeing them blow up. I honestly, watching, like, how well they've blown up, there are times where I wish I came in later into the game. Because there's this saying amongst, like, it's not a saying. There's, like, this theory amongst YouTubers, like, all big YouTubers even, that there's, like, supposedly, like, this 5-year lifespan of the average channel. Like, the average channel will, like, have a good 5 years of running. After about 5 years, you either plateau, stay where you are, you kind of fall off. You can even see with the bigger channels, like the ones with millions of views, like Jenna Marbles, she's still killing it, but she's been around for a while. You don't really see her growing so much anymore, like Casey Neistat has been.
Yeah.
Not saying that's a real thing. I think you kind of control your growth to an extent. As long as you learn how to adapt and recreate yourself, you can keep growing. But, man, like, it's crazy to see how different it is nowadays. It's like anybody can really just, like, blow up if you just market yourself correctly. Now it's crazy.
How do you think one does go about marketing themselves correctly, and why do maybe so many people fail at it? Because like you said earlier, this is such a heavily saturated industry. Everybody and their brother, no pun intended, that's literally my exact situation. Everybody and their brother has a YouTube channel and is really trying to, have this platform to springboard their content or their ideas. How do you go about this nowadays in a way that you're setting yourself up for success?
Same exact way I went about it. This is actually one clear-cut answer that I really have that I stand by. The one biggest key to success in marketing yourself on social media is you have to be passionate about something specific. No matter what it is, you have to be genuinely passionate about that thing first and foremost. And then you have to use YouTube, Instagram, whatever your tool of marketing is. You have to use that simply as a way to share and document your passion. It cannot be the other way around. I meet so many people at expos, right?
Yeah.
And I meet hundreds of people, especially now in 2017, that have cameras with them. They have the Gorilla Pods and everything. They look like YouTubers, and everyone now has a channel. Some of them are tiny. Some have like 50 subscribers, some have 10 subscribers. Everybody has a channel they're starting to build. And I can, in an instant, just by talking to that person, read if that channel is going to actually take off. It doesn't even have to blow up to like Guzman's side. If you get 10,000 subscribers, that's freaking awesome. But I can tell if a channel is going to be able to grow or if it's going to just completely dud out. And the reason I can tell is simple. If that person has a passion for documenting something specific, their channel is likely going to grow and do well. If that person is doing it just because they want the quote unquote YouTube fame or the YouTube money,
right,
they're going to flop 100% of the time. 100% of the people that are doing it just for the YouTube fame and money are going to flop because they're not passionate about something. And what they end up realizing is, holy shit, YouTube is a full-time job. Everyone thinks YouTube's easy, like you just film something and you throw it on YouTube and it's done. It's 10 minutes out of your day. And it's not. And you've seen Maxx do it firsthand, so you know as well as anybody.
He would come home from his full-time job and then start his other full-time job.
Yep. Oh, yeah, 100%. The filming, the editing, the uploading, mentally, like the list goes on. YouTube is a full-time job, and what happens is, I don't care who you are, unless you get really lucky and like you're like a C.T. Fletcher, in which case you have to be somebody incredible. Unless you're like C.T. Fletcher and you can go viral overnight, YouTube growth, social media growth is slow. It's slow. It takes time. Even the channels that seem like they're growing fast, you got to think about the amount of work, the amount of hours they put in every single day, and the growth day to day, week to week is not that huge, even for the fastest growing channels. And what happens is if you don't have an actual like goal to focus on, a passion to share, your only focus is going to be what content should I put out for the views? What video should I make next for the views? And then you're going to realize your views are not growing as fast as you thought they would. You still aren't able to live off of YouTube. You're still not getting flown out to expos. Oh, damn, this sucks. This is a lot of hard work. This isn't that interesting anymore. I don't feel that inspired to keep doing this anymore. And then they stop uploading. And you see it all the time. These small channels start, and then they disappear, and you don't see them again. What happened to them? They gave up because they were doing it for the wrong reasons. If you are passionate about something and documenting that, you won't even care about the numbers. Like, I started by being obsessed about bodybuilding, period. Competing in bodybuilding. I didn't care about YouTube at all. I started off being obsessed with bodybuilding, and I wanted to share my bodybuilding journey. I wanted to be known in the natural bodybuilding industry as a great natural bodybuilder, and that was it. So I would film, document my journey to a show, upload it, and then I just go back to focusing on the bodybuilding show. I wouldn't care about the views. I wouldn't care how fast the channel was growing or not growing. Mm-hmm. And then finally, once I went back to go look at the views, lo and behold, we have a loyal following starting to grow. But I was focused on the passion itself, and that also kept driving the channel. The channel had a direction to keep growing in. So you got to have a passion. Answer is that. You got to have a passion about something and be using social media simply as a way to share and document your passion. If you are doing it just for the fame, you 110%, I promise you, will fail.
That's an amazing answer, man. And I think that it's probably a little muddier these days because there is such a thing as being a YouTuber. There is such a thing as people having these quote unquote, whether you want to call it a job or not, a full-time job of content creation, that artistic flair, editing, filming, whatever your kind of forte is. There's a lot of man hours that go behind it. So how do you think that kind of differs now as far as someone having maybe that passion and wanting to put that behind the lens, behind the camera for the purpose of wanting to make this a full-time job? How do you kind of balance that fine line of staying true to a passion, true to content creation, true to your why, but still at the same time pursuing your goal of, this lifestyle, this job, this career?
I feel like when you're obsessed about something, as long as you have a kind of a creative and outgoing mind, it just becomes kind of easy and kind of natural. Like, it might be a little unfair for me to say that because, like, people like me and Max, we have similar personalities as far as
just being goofy as hell.
Yeah. It's just a matter of just sharing and documenting what you like. That's really it. So, like, I don't feel like you ever have to stray outside of your why. You just got to keep pursuing your why and just constantly think of ways to share that why. So if you're doing something that you love, how the hell can you share it? And then just share it. And also to clarify kind of on that and kind of on what I was just saying a minute ago about the passion.
Yeah.
I feel like with the fitness industry, it's really easy to look at the passion as something specific, like passion meaning like competing in bodybuilding, competing in powerlifting. It doesn't necessarily have to be like that. You'll see some channels that do that seemingly just vlog. They don't have a definite like purpose, like they're not competing in anything or anything like that, and they do really well. But even if you look at those channels, there'll still be some underlying passions they have. Like Casey Neistat, for example, he doesn't necessarily have like a theme for each video, but he is a passionate and skilled and talented videographer.
Oh, absolutely.
He could create movies. Like that's his. I can't remember if he went to film school. I watched his bio a long time ago. I can't remember it now, but he's just obsessive about the actual craft of videography, and he brings that to his channel. So though his videos itself may not have like a hard hitting theme, his passion is clearly bringing the quality of the videos to the table. So when I tell people like you gotta have a passion, don't look at it so black and white. It can be in even subtle underlying ways too.
I like it, man. So pretty much no matter what I'm hearing, if you just stick to your passion, stay true to your why, the path will kind of unfold for you.
There's got to be something that you love. That's the point. If your YouTube channel is throwing pies at random strangers, just make sure that you genuinely obsessively love throwing pies at strangers. Don't do it just for the YouTube.
I'd be pissed off because I would just see good pie being wasted.
Exactly.
Well, I heard you kind of drop the P word earlier, and what I want to transition into your recent, I guess the past year or two, kind of phase of your life and your training and your YouTube filming is, powerlifting. So you got started hard and fast with bodybuilding, weightlifting, and then over the last couple of years have really gotten big into powerlifting. So why the shift from one sport to another?
Quite honestly, I just lost the interest for bodybuilding. There's comments left and right saying that it was too hard, or I didn't like dieting, or I wasn't good at it, this and that, this and that. But the reality, the fact of the matter was, I did do well in bodybuilding. I competed in, I think, 7 or 8 shows. I won 4 or 5 team titles up to an international level.
Wow.
Competed at the natural Mr. Olympia, which was an international, like, I can't remember how many countries competed in that, but it was huge. And I ended up on TV twice from it. Got a cover of a magazine. I was the first drug-tested competitive teen on the cover of a magazine, which I got from bodybuilding. So I had an amazing run in bodybuilding, and I think I did well in it. I'm very proud of what I accomplished in the sport of bodybuilding.
Absolutely.
While I was in it. And then, but what ended up happening was, when I got into it, I was a small kid. I was 104 pounds my freshman year of high school, 11.5-inch arms, weak as can be. I had extreme body dysmorphia, man. I had the epitome of bigorexia. Like, it would just ruin my mood. If I looked in the mirror and I felt like my shirt wasn't like hugging my sleeves the right way, or I just looked small, it would ruin my mood. I was like unhealthy about it.
Oh, man.
So bodybuilding became like, that's why I became obsessed with bodybuilding. But eventually, like, once I got around like into my early 20s, I snapped out of that, and that became realistic with myself and comfortable with myself. And I definitely like being big. Like, I don't like shredding up just because it makes me small. So there's a little bit of that still in me, but like, I became overall comfortable with myself. So you mix the fact that I'm no longer obsessing about transforming my body anymore, I'm more comfortable with my skin, with the fact that I also came to terms with the fact that, unfortunately, in real legitimate natural bodybuilding, there's not much room to grow after a while. Like, it's kind of boring. You're looking around at all these NPC guys growing like 10 pounds of muscle, like adding inches to their arms every single year dramatically, and then you're over here, maybe like you added like a millimeter to like your arm if you look really closely.
And you're really proud about that millimeter.
Yeah, or you got like a little bit more shredded this year than you did last year after like 25 horrible weeks of dieting versus their 12. It just, basically I just kind of got tired of it. I didn't have that body dysmorphia driving me anymore, and it just lost interest being natural because it's only so far you can go natural. So I just lost interest in it, plain and simple. And at the same time, I missed athleticism because I used to do a bunch of sports in high school, so I really missed athleticism. So I was actually kind of contemplating getting into like maybe MMA or even like Olympic lifting, just
really?
involve some athleticism. I was just tired of doing what eventually felt like a male beauty pageant. Like, you didn't have to be feeling good or performing well the day of the meet. You just had to make sure that you dieted well for the last 7 months and like the judges liked you. And I missed being able to like amp myself up and do a physical feat on game day, basically. And I missed being able to compete multiple times in a year without killing myself, like normal sports. So I ended up finding Johnny Candido's channel and stumbled into powerlifting around 2014, announced the change. And actually, it was crazy. My channel like really repicked. It was starting to die, and my channel picked right back up and started doing really well when I switched to powerlifting. That was incredible. And and now I'm just in the strength training.
So have you competed at all now in the powerlifting sport?
Yep. So I've done 3 meets now so far. I compete in the 183-pound weight class. I do pretty well. I placed top 5 in all of them. It's a competitive ass sport now. You got monsters out there, and having only done the strength training for about 2 years now, 2 or 3 years. Obviously, I'm not competitive on a national level, but I love it, man. It's addicting. I'm hooked. I love it. There's nothing more addicting to me than just like strength training, like the high of lifting heavy ass weight. And it's a sport where you can actually make progress even as a natural. I think more so than bodybuilding anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. I really think that powerlifting, I don't know, maybe it's been the kind of awareness theory, because I do kind of have so many people close to home that are powerlifters, are competitive powerlifters. But I really think that it's kind of the new. When I see people training strictly in that old school bodybuilding mentality, it honestly throws me off a little bit. I really don't see that much anymore. It's usually that strict powerlifting style, or even that power bodybuilding, going with the heavy compound lifts and then throwing in your accessory stuff afterwards.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. It's weird. Dude, like when I was doing a deload week, which is just where you just stop lifting heavy to let your body recover, I just did like quote unquote bodybuilding stuff that whole week, just like old school days. I'd be going in like
yeah,
their day, and it just felt so wrong. I was like, what am I doing with my life right now?
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Exactly.
So what's on the table for you now, man? Are you still, kind of in powerlifting mode? Are you in competition mode? What has 2017 brought you thus far?
Well, yeah, I'm documenting my journey to another powerlifting meet where I'm excited about my new strength and new numbers I'm putting up on the platform.
Attaboy.
There's a series on YouTube for it called Set the Tone. So I still love lifting heavy, and I'm definitely looking forward to competing again. What is funny though, Chase, between you and I and all the listeners, I think you're the only person I've actually disclosed this to outside of like personal people like Arianna.
Oh, here it comes, EF Radio exclusive.
I'm not announcing any specific moves, but I am kind of getting the feeling that I may be segueing out of the fitness industry a little bit more.
Really?
This is on. I'll forever be in the sense of like lifting. Like I'll always be a strength athlete
for
like
personal purposes, right?
Yep, and I love video editing, so I can definitely see still uploading videos and stuff like that. But it might be more of like on a mass aesthetics frequency. I'm not saying this is going to happen right now or this month or anything like that.
You're entertaining the idea.
I'm just being honest. A couple of people have been starting to comment about how like the channel seems to be plateaued a little bit. The views are not what they were, and they're not. When I did the comeback series, my average video view was 50 to 65,000 every regular upload. Same as pretty close to like what Max's are right now. And now they're like down to like 20,000 ish again. And so, but people have been starting to comment on this and notice it, and it's just the fact of the matter. I still love lifting and I still love making videos, but that obsession isn't really there for me anymore with it. And there are a couple of other things I've had my eye on focusing on that I've been starting to work on behind the scenes. Nothing that I'm going to mention now just because I don't think it's a good idea to ever mention anything before it's actually there. But, yeah, I'm not making any calls now. I'm just saying that I can see myself kind of segueing out. I think I've had an amazing run on YouTube and all that, and it might just be my time to kind of shift gears in my life, at least maybe in the next year or two.
Has it been your YouTube 5-year bubble already?
I think it has, man. It's been a while.
Man. I think that's a great testament. Someone who goes through your teenage years, we all went through certain, phases, whatever you want to call it, things that were really a big interest to you, and then you act upon it. And then you get into your 20s, or you get out of the house, or you go to college, or you do your own thing, and, those things don't quite maybe interest you as much, and you have something new and shiny, some other kind of carrot dangling in front of you. And it sounds to me like I think you're headed into another season of your life, man.
Yes, you nailed it. I think that's exactly what this is. Obviously not going to jump the gun or anything. Just going to keep taking life as it comes, moving one step at a time, and just trying to constantly just do. You can never go wrong if you always just try to pursue what makes you happy.
Absolutely.
So just going to keep doing that. The channel and the lifting the videos, they're not going anywhere right now, so I'm not trying to like alarm anybody who likes the channel. But yeah, I think you're right about that new season. What's funny is what I will say is like it's hard for viewers to kind of like grasp that sometimes. I think it's even hard for us like as content creators to kind of grasp that because we get so used to like this is what I do, this is what I've done, and this is who I am now. So it's like
it's a sense of identity.
Yes, exactly. So to do something different, like what? I can't do that. And it's like people did it with me at first with bodybuilding. I still get people like, you don't bodybuild anymore? Why don't you go back to bodybuilding? It's like, guys, like I bodybuilded when I was 14 all the way up through 21. Like that was my teen years. Like that's just not an interest anymore. And I love powerlifting. It's just a genuine interest. It's a new obsession. And YouTube was something I did from right out of high school, 2009, all the way up to now. I'm 25. I'll be 26 in a couple of months. And that's been something that has been amazing for me. Like livelihood, made more than I ever could have in any of my 9-to-5 jobs combined from it. Got to just travel the world, work with the biggest companies, literally like Converse, Gillette. I've had insane, unimaginable opportunities from it. Like I'm speechless when I think back on how many opportunities YouTube has brought to me, and I loved it. And I'm still going to keep doing it. But 26 years old, heading into my later 20s now, my interests kind of shift.
Absolutely, man. I think as we all go through these different seasons of life, it's hard enough to really come to terms with that maybe what brought you so much pleasure or interest or reason to get out of bed isn't quite the same anymore. But knowing that you're never really gonna disown it or fully hang it up,
Exactly.
But now you just have something else that is catching your glimpse and you want to pursue that. So I mean that's difficult enough to just process as a person. How do you handle that now on a national, worldwide platforms such as YouTube, like you said, people commenting on views on your channel and shifting from bodybuilding to powerlifting, and why aren't you going back to it? So how do you deal with processing that yourself and then all of the trolls?
That's actually a really good question. Dealing with that yourself, I think, is hard for anybody. Not even just like public or on YouTube. Like anytime you got to switch, you could be a father of children with a nice job and a nice house, but you might have to transition for some reason. That might be hard. I think that's hard for anybody. People are just like afraid of change. It's like in the end of that Hobson song. It's like what worked for you 5 years ago may not still work for you now.
Right.
Man, honestly, just being around the right supportive people. Like, I'm grateful to have Arianna. Obviously, he's my best friend. We've been dating for like 4 years. So I've talked. I'm very like open and honest with her about all that. So I'll talk to her about it, vent my feelings, and she'll give me like good, objective feedback, basically saying kind of what you just said right there. Kind of put in perspective. Sometimes you just need someone close to you to like tell you it's okay to be kind of freaked out, or it's okay to like be changing, and then it's just that reassurance is good. Also, just not panicking. Like, for me, it gets a little scary sometimes when I get consumed, and this is what I've known for the past like 8 years. Like, this is like what I love. But sometimes even I have to step back and look at my life. Like, okay, I thought I was going to be doing custom car audio. Like, that's what I'm not kidding. We had flyers. We had like people in the garage. I thought we were going to be doing that. Then I switched to bodybuilding. I've transitioned before. It's not my first transition. It won't be my last transition. So it's like, we're here for 100 years. Make the most of it. And just come and go. Don't make something your identity, basically, is it? And as far as the trolls go, man, I try not to look at the comments, honestly, because they're always like, it's always bad with trolls. Like,
yeah,
people, I don't know if people are just genuinely dumb, or if they just want to believe what they want to believe, or if they're just trying to be sarcastic assholes. I mean, either way. But you get like bodybuilding, it is, I think I've done a lot, and I think the results speak for themselves, that I had a great run in bodybuilding, and I just genuinely got tired of it. And I think it's clear to see I love powerlifting, but I'll still get people that are like, you just quit bodybuilding because you sucked at it. You were scared to die. I'm like, I don't think I sucked that bad at it. So it's gonna happen. Like, oh, you just got you suck because like you fell off, and so and so's doing better than you. Chewing's doing better than you. This and that. It's just dumb. It's like, no, like I came on, I had my run, I did as good as I could, I loved it, and now it's time to move to something else.
That's a great mindset to have, man. Staying true to yourself, I think really in any industry, in any profession, especially one where you're choosing to put yourself in front of a camera and then upload it to the world. If you can't look yourself in the mirror every day and know without a shadow of a doubt who you are and why you're doing what you're doing, then you just need to stop right there, because everyone else and their brother, their mother in the world is going to see right through that and just tear you apart. Exactly.
I could not agree more. That is perfect right there. People listening, that is like also really good advice.
That too also, yeah. Well, Nick, man, like I said, you have been in the game for a long time. I've always looked to you as someone who knows their craft and has no problem telling others when they don't or when they do. Like you said, when you meet people in line at expos, and you can kind of tell in that first glimpse, that first couple seconds of talking to them, whether or not they have that X factor, or looking at other people, like Maxx, that, really you put them on and kind of really just gave them that idea. So if anything, man, you're a great kind of person to go to just figure out, hey, do I have it or not?
Yeah, thanks. I guess I am.
Maybe I should have talked to you first before I started uploading videos.
All right, you found your niche here without a doubt. So
I appreciate that, man. So Nick, these days, who are maybe some people you're watching on YouTube, if at all? Who do you kind of see as ushering in or continuing this current wave of YouTube fitness and content creation?
Man, well, not even just saying this because he's my friend or because I started him, but Maxx Chewning is killing it. Maxx is cool as shit because he is obsessive and he watches so much YouTube. That's why he helped me adapt so much, because he doesn't just watch fitness. He watches any genre you could think of. He'll send me videos that he watch. I'm like, Max, how did you even find this video? But he watches all of it.
Oh yeah, I used to catch him all the time. I'd come home, he was watching makeup tutorials, and he was doing that himself. And yeah, no.
But not really. Like, so he just, that's how he has such a creative mind, and his fan base is so loyal to him. Like, it grows slow in the sense where his subscriber count grows slowly, but man, you look at the interaction there, so loyal. So he's gonna keep killing it and keep growing. It'll be gradual, but it's
Agreed.
gonna be such a
Yeah.
solid type following. Christian Guzman, I'm gonna say this now. This is just my words. You can disagree. Any of you can disagree if you want. I consider Christian Guzman the most successful YouTuber in all of fitness right now, period, hands down. There are other YouTubers.
That's a hard point to argue, man.
There are other YouTubers that maybe have more total subscribers than him or something like that. But, man, that following, and then obviously I wouldn't never disclose anyone's personal business, but I've talked to Christian personally just about his business endeavors and even the stuff that goes on behind the scenes that, like, YouTube videos wouldn't discuss. And
Yeah.
it's just he's inspiring. It's incredible what that guy has going on. It is a whole other league and level from anybody, I think. So he is killing it. He will continue to set the tone and not to insult him, because I know a lot of people don't like Justin Bieber, but he's literally like Justin Bieber as far as trend setting goes, and not even an insult to him.
Fair enough.
Literally, like him or hate him, Bieber has set so many trends, like, in pop culture.
Yeah.
As far as, like, he's like the most followed, like, artist on Instagram, most sold albums or whatever, and then, like, anytime he starts doing, like, a new trend, you start seeing it in other, like, Guzman is kind of like that. I'm telling you, Guzman, everyone has their own gym. Every YouTuber's opening up their own gym now. Guzman wasn't the first one to do it, but he definitely was one of the first ones, and definitely one of the ones to make it popular. The clothing line, even just the way he takes his photos, you see everybody's trying to do that now. So Guzman sets the trend and sets the tone a lot for YouTube. He's going to continue doing that. Man, those are definitely, like, my two, I think, golden boys right there as far as people are going to do really well. There's a lot of YouTube channels coming out now, man. Like, Nick Bear, he's blowing up fast. He's killing it with his business.
Oh, Nick's my boy, yeah. Nick and Preston.
Nick's awesome,
yeah.
dude. Masthetics is Masthetics. They're their own category.
Yeah, fair enough. Masthetics is Masthetics. That's all you need to say.
They're their own category. But man, there's a lot of. I'm sure I'm leaving people out, obviously. But there's just, like, so many channels right now that are blowing up and killing it. And then, but I do think Guzman will continue leading the pack.
Have you come across Zach Kravitz's channel yet?
Yes, yep.
That kid, I think as far as YouTube channels go, he has a really small channel. I think he's got maybe like 3,000-4,000 subscribers. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure it's under 5K. And his views are, like between 1,000 and 3,000, I think, which is pretty good for a relatively new channel. But man, that guy, like, I feel like he could step behind a camera tomorrow and film the next Oscar-winning Best Picture. Yes. I think that kid's going places.
I had the pleasure of hanging out with him during the Arnold Classic because he was the.
That's right. He was working for Alpha, right?
Yep, he was the cameraman there for Alpha, and I actually can't wait to see that video. That video is gonna be so epic, and he would end up. He was also filming a lot for Matt Keto.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm sure I'm in a lot of that footage because we were all hanging and training together. But yeah, dude, really cool guy, super talented. His footage looks so. I agree with you. His footage looks so cool.
It's so obvious that he has a passion for it, and he puts so much time and effort into his skill. It comes across.
Yeah. Oh, it's insane. He even put, like, a snap or an Instagram story the other day of him, like, just downloading some stuff for the video, and it was taking, like, hours. And I was even thinking, I don't know if I'd wait that long. I think I'd just cut corners.
Damn, man. Well, Nick, it's always good reconnecting with you, man. We got to get you back down here, back down south a little bit, and head over to D.C. and reconnect in the gym.
Oh, I'm definitely
some Chipotle. Oh, Nick, for all my listeners out there, let's just hear Nick Wright say Chipotle.
I don't know what you mean, man. It's Chipotle.
Nick.
For the viewers, I say Chipotle. Let's go to Chipotle.
Nick and every mom ever cannot pronounce Chipotle.
No, that's not accurate because I actually just heard Arianna's mom say Chipotle.
Oh my gosh, it's even worse. It's spreading.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate your time. It's late. Let's wrap things up. I know you got a vacation to recover from, but seriously, man, someone who is so obviously connecting a passion to their purpose and just continuing to do well in whatever they put their mind to, and whatever your new endeavors are, man, I know you're just gonna be as successful, if not even more.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that, especially coming from you. I do.
Oh, shucks.
Oh, shucks.
All right, Nick, I'm going to wrap things up with one new kind of outro question that I actually just started on my last interview, and tying in the whole theme of EverForward. I feel at this point everyone is familiar enough with my why and my story with what those two words mean to me. But like I said to you in the beginning before we started recording, was that this podcast is not about me. This is not for me. This is a way for me to put on people that I feel are doing great things and or will continue to do great things and have that, ever forward mentality. Right. So I want to ask you a final question, man. What is it about the products or services that you offer, or just, you being Nick Wright, because at the end of the day, you are your own brand. What is it about you that helps others live a life ever forward?
Well, as far as the YouTube content goes, as far as the Nick Wright side of things goes, besides making people feel better about their abs, I feel like throughout my journeys of documenting competition, be it both bodybuilding and powerlifting, I feel like I give people a good look at relatable journeys, honestly, because there's a lot of content out there highlighting the best of the best and genetic freaks, and I love watching all that too. Nothing is more motivational than watching the best of the best do what they do. But I feel like the one thing I can offer, I'm not the best genetically, I'm not the strongest, the most ripped, whatever, but one thing I can offer is I have a good solid work ethic and I'm consistent, and I invite you into my life in every aspect of my life. So as I progress towards whatever goal I'm working at, be it competing, be it expanding my YouTube or business, whatever, I feel like a lot of people can watch that and relate and see somebody who's a lot more like them than the rare genetic 1% are doing what they might want to do and might up until now have been too afraid to do. Mm-hmm. But now they can see somebody else doing it and they can jump in and do it with me and follow my directions if they need a little bit of direction, or just have somebody else they can relate to. Awesome,
man. I love it. Again, thank you so much for your time. I think anyone who is interested in pursuing a passion, doesn't necessarily have to be bodybuilding, powerlifting, just pay attention to what the passion is in your current season of life. And if you ever want some guidance and how to lift some heavy ass weights, go find Mr. Nick Wright on the YouTubes.
Thanks, man. And guys and girls.
Ooh, and they had a few ladies.
And dogs. Any dogs nearby. Not cats. I don't like cats.
Cats. Yeah, no cats. All right, brother, that's going to be a wrap. Again, thank you so much, and that's going to conclude this week's episode of EverForward Radio. Nick Wright has been and continues to be a great friend of mine in this industry. He is someone that has really paved the way for a lot of the current people on YouTube and in the fitness community online. I hope that today's message resonated with you in some way and allows you to better live your life ever forward.